Welcome to the Season 2 finale. We're going to be talking about a PS2 game called Gungrave. But before we get into it, I just got to tell you about this video's sponsor, Keeps. Yes, Keeps is back to sponsor the channel for another year of hair growth. You all know how great their products are, and I actually use them a lot myself. Take your hair back today with Keeps. I know I said the last game is going to be Dark Souls, but it's just too hard, and I don't have time for it. So anyways, here's the game. Yeah, it looks badass, but you know what? It's just a button-mashing simulator. Yep, all you do is walk forward and press the square button to kill all the enemies and move on to another level. Now, that might sound pretty bad, but it's actually quite fun. And I think it's really worth trying. Let's get into it. You play as a corpse, kind of like my channel, who got resurrected to kill Harry McDowell, the tyrant of the Syndicate group, who are trying to take over the city the game takes place in. The story is overall pretty cryptic, in the way that a lot of things are purposefully left out to confuse the player. The main character, Grave, or Brandon, has some kind of amnesia, and you pretty much play the game through his eyes and figure out parts of the story with him. When you do figure it out, though, the story isn't all too special. It's just a typical revenge story that doesn't stand out too much. That doesn't mean it's bad, though. Even though the concept may be pretty standard, it's presented in a very unique way that not many games do. It's fun to try to read between the lines and piece the story together. Another thing that's interesting is the overall atmosphere. Even though you're told the world is filled with people watching your fight against the Syndicate, it never feels like that. It feels like you're just alone and everything and everyone is out to get you. The whole feel of the game is just pretty fucked up. It's hard to describe in words, but it's dark and uneasy. The world just feels wrong. So, the gameplay, it's kind of a piece of shit, at least on paper. The best way to describe is a third-person free-roam gallery shooter. It's mostly a button masher. You have to dodge with your roll every now and then, but you can just mash square to win, since you pretty much also get infinite heals. It may sound more boring than some of my recent videos, but surprisingly, it's not so bad. What really helps is the badass presentation and the beat counter, which is basically just your combo. Seeing that number go high feels great. The music is also just amazing. Though you can barely hear it because of all the fucking gunfire. I mean, listen to this shit. This was my third playthrough of the game, and I still thought it was pretty fun. The later games are just pieces of shit, though. Don't play them, ever. I mean, they're worse than having to sit through a Rex Viper concert with Justin playing all the instruments. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but the first game really is the best one. In my opinion, it's a classic, really worth trying out. It's really short too, with only 6 stages. The whole game will take you about 2 to 3 hours to complete. There's also an anime based on it, which you already know I've watched, without subtitles actually. I study Japanese in my free time, as I've told you all before. So that's Gungrave. Great game overall, nothing but good memories, I highly recommend it. See you all later, truthers. 540, 5 of them, all that stuff.